I do believe that conservatism, or republicanism rather, has been too austere in the past, and people don't feel like they can relate to it. It may make you uncomfortable, but don't reject things that are new. One of the things that always makes me cringe is when people say, you know, Trump's good, but I just wish he would stop tweeting. I'm like, oh, but that's how he won. That is.
And I don't know if I relate to Candace Owens on that level, because I don't consider myself a Republican or conservative. Because honestly, I don't really know much about it. And like she said, but here's the thing: I'm open to learning about like both sides of the spectrum, but I don't consider myself.
I saw it circulating, so me and my assistant, I don't know where she is, but I said, I'm gonna go put on all white and red lipstick and let's go recreate that, right? And I sent a message. I said, oh, but I'm outside of a black school where they can't find a single child that's literate. It drove them a message. It got millions of views and it went viral. That's how you can deliver a message and win a culture war, just being funny. And I think that I do believe that conservatism, or republicanism rather, has been too austere in the past, and people don't feel like they can relate to it. It may make you uncomfortable, but don't reject things that are new. One of the things that always makes me cringe is when people say, Trump's good, but I just wish he would stop tweeting. I'm like, oh, but that's how he won. That is.
And I don't know if I relate to Candace Owens on that level, because I don't consider myself a Republican or conservative. Because honestly, I don't really know much about it. And like she said, but here's the thing: I'm open to learning about like both sides of the spectrum, but I don't consider myself that. But I did take a political compass test, and it said I was like super right. Hey, I consider myself like I'm open to both sides.
Really, how he is winning. Imagine if he relied on the mainstream media to get out his message. I mean, that would be ridiculous. So he's fighting a battle because he really understands social media and how it works, and he's perpetually trolling them. And trolling is a component of the culture war.
Thank you, Candace, for being here. Just the other day, I heard a poll, not that I believe polls these days, but said 82% of African Americans would never vote for Trump. I'd like you to comment on that and how you're relating. This audience is pretty white.
82%. I definitely believe that.
Well, the Blexit movement is just that. It's just minorities. So that's my Blexit movement when I go city to city and take on inner cities. That's directly taking the message to Black America. And you have to do that. And by the way, I say Black America, but as soon as I launched Blexit, I received about 1,000 emails from the Latinos being like, you're not leaving us out, we're the L. So now Blexit is Black and Latinos. I should clarify that. They were not playing around. And then I got a bunch of emails from Asians, and they were like, there needs to be an Asian exit. Can you change it to Blexit? So I was like, okay, guys, we're getting a little crazy. But the Democrats know that poll is fake. They know that because look at all of their debates today. They're literally, now the debate is Black people will take our money. Like that's what they're saying now, right? Like just take our money, we'll do anything. They know something's cracking and something's happening in the Black community. And in the ways that they have tried to assassinate my character, they hate me. I mean, I'm a trending story. They accused me and Donald Trump of the mosque shooting in New Zealand. I don't even talk about Islam. I mean, it's unbelievable. So there's
I think the disconnect, I think the reason why something like Blexit is able to exist, or a mass movement of Black people in modern society going towards Republicanness or conservativeness, whatever, I don't know the exact phrase, is because a lot of people who say that they're on the left just lied. Like a lot of like civil rights activists who say they're on the left, or a lot of people who promote things on this side, or who have organizations on this side, lied. They lied to the Black community so much that something like Blexit is able to exist. And this is why I watch videos like this, because you just, at a point, it's like you just get tired of being lied to. Like it's no way that you say you're for us, but nothing you do is actually for us. So this is why something like this is like able to exist, in my opinion. And I don't have a problem with it. Hey y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe.
And they're very afraid right now. And let me tell you something about why I'm so optimistic about Black America. First and foremost, I think somebody counted on CNN last week, they said the word racist 2,200 times in 1 week. That is remarkable. That is a talent. We should applaud them.
Dang.
But despite the fact that they have increased this rhetoric, support for Donald Trump amongst minorities has doubled, and that is verified by even an NAACP poll, right? And they were like, it's only 14%, whatever it is. They're all acknowledging that it's doubled and gone up since he's gone into office. That means Black Americans are no longer listening to the racism claims anymore, even though you may feel like it because you're hearing it from the mainstream media. It really is becoming like the boy who cried wolf. When you call everything racist, it's really hard to make people feel anything about racism anymore. And they've, in my opinion, overplayed their hand dramatically. And then the last thing that I'll add here is why I'm so optimistic is because for those of you that don't know, the Democrats rely upon the black vote, 100%. So Hillary Clinton got 89% of the black vote. We only have to move it 5 points in 2020.
And this is what I'm saying, bro. She got 89% of the black vote. And I have nothing against people. I have nothing against this woman. I don't even know much about her. But that is the Black People Party, the Democratic Party, where they get a lot of the votes. But my thing is, it's like you say you're going to do something for the community over and over and over again. Eventually, you have to do it, bruh. Like, that's why, like, for example, Trump's success or popularity went up, it doubled. Because just get tired of getting lied to, like I said earlier.
Done. They cannot, if they get 84% of the black vote, they lose. They cannot dip below 85% and sustain their party. So the desperation that you're seeing is because for the first time there's actually a monolith being broken and a dialogue happening amongst Black Americans, and that terrifies them to their core.
Hi. What message would you give to young people who are coming into looking at universities and colleges who have been brought up by mainstream media and are trying to figure out their own message toward themselves because all they have seen their whole lives is media and Hollywood? And what message, what advice would you give them to expand their horizons?
You know, so I will say this, I am the most optimistic about Generation Z. These younger kids, the millennials are the problem, right? The generation below the millennials, they're actually the solution. They're really irreverent, they're the meme culture, they're not as sensitive as the millennials were. I mean, they're trying out conservatism because they're being told they can't, and that's part of being young, right? Like, what are we not allowed to do? We're gonna go try and do that, right? Because it feels very rock and roll. So I'm actually optimistic about the younger generation. I just think that parents have to do a good job of preparing them for what college is. And it really is just a virtue-signaling totalitarian island.
She said, you know how crazy life is? She said conservatism is very rock and roll. Like, life, man. You're a rock star. Like, because this video, it will be technically considered what, conservative? I don't know. You are like a rock star, I guess. You are a rebel if you're a conservative or something. Or even if you're in the middle, you're a rebel. Who would have thought? Who would have ever thought this would be the case?
That's the truth. I mean, today when the Mario Lopez thing went viral, I was talking to my fiance, and there was a professor. She had a PhD. She went to every university. She's got 12 years of university under her belt, and she was explaining to me that women can be men and men can be women. And I said to him, you have to go to school to be that dumb, right? Like, you have to go to school to be that stupid. And that's kind of where we're at now, where it's like the more school you do, the further you are from reality, because you have no real life experience. Your life experience is in a classroom. You don't know what a dollar means. You don't know what hard work means. So I would say making sure that the kids know that the professors, the Marxist professors, are not real life, and also give them the courage and the power to know that they have your support. It's really hard being a conservative in high school or in college today, and standing behind them and saying, no matter what happens, like I always say, I will be in a school administration's worst nightmare. I will live in the principal's office when I have children someday, and fighting with them every step of the way, and making sure that they're taking practical majors, right? Not feminist dance class, right? think that's always a good start if you tether them to reality via science and maths and engineering and the things that we actually need. You'll produce children that are more tethered to reality.
Hi there, Britta Warren. Thanks for coming and joining us here in the mountains. I'm from McCoy, and my question is not more of a question. I just want to hear more about your book that's coming out.
Yeah.
And if you could tell us a little bit more about the process and how long it took to write.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I'm still writing it. It's on pre-sale. It's almost done. But I always knew I wanted to write a book. I wanted to make sure the timing was right, and I never wanted to be one of those people that paid someone $100,000 to write their book because their brand is hot, and that's really across the board what happens a lot. And for me, it had to be me. So actually, one of the things that me and the publisher were going back and forth on is they're like, a softer title, be nicer. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really do that, right? That's not really my brand. I'm more of a flamethrower because we need flames thrown right now. Flamethrowing lights the path towards truth, in my opinion. So for me, I wanted it to be sort of my thesis for people to say, who is Candace Owens? Where did she come from? Because one of the things that the left tries to do is they try to make me white. I don't know, like I'm a rich white girl from Connecticut. It's really, I read articles on myself. I'm like, I sound like I grew up really wealthy, and I didn't come from a really broken childhood. And my father is an alcoholic. Grew up in a very abusive home. I wanted to tell them those stories. I experienced a hate crime when I was in high school, and actually being the victim of that hate crime actually shaped a lot of my views towards this path that people try to make people.
And I would have never thought any of this happened because she never carries herself with that victimhood mentality. Like, you would literally think she always had everything handed to her, because the way she goes throughout life, she never complains. She just puts her boots on and gets to work.
You should aspire to be a victim, and that's going to somehow make you feel good. It doesn't. It's about championing your victim experiences. So I wanted to give people a piece of me so they know where I came from, where these ideas came from, and why I view the left as so dangerous, and trying to first and foremost strip people of their self-confidence. I think that's the number one thing that they do. They're killers of self-confidence. They make you believe you can't the whole time, especially as a Black American. You're just sort of like, hey, you're Black, so it's going to be a tough ride for you because of white supremacy and white people have it better. I mean, you're really telling a kid they can't before they even try. So I wanted it to be very serious in its tone, and obviously with my personality, there's definitely are a couple of Candace gems in there. And to tell people what socialism is. You talk to kids today, they know exactly who Adolf Hitler is, right? But they have no idea about Joseph Stalin and Mao, who killed way more people. Why is that? Why aren't we learning about the dangers of socialism?
Not gonna lie, I don't know who Mao is. I've never been taught that in school. And people act like, bro, I've never been taught this stuff, which is insane.
Why do we have these kids walking around with Fidel Castro t-shirts, showing them the harms of that, and using Black America as the experiment of what socialism brings? Because they really did socialize Black America first via the welfare system, and we see what that produces. So it's a lot in there, but I think it will. I want it in the hands. I say to everyone, buy the book and then donate the book to a Black American.
She's 100% right, man. Candace is just intelligent. If you have any more suggestions for me, comment down below. It's LFR Jojo, and I will see y'all next.